great, man. I'm great. Definitely a pleasure to be chatting with you. I know, you ran into a few things last week, but glad we could get it together.
We ran into my forgetfulness last week, man. I appreciate you being patient and working with me, man.
Okay, I got you. I got you. Well, I mean, how was your Labor Day weekend? How was everything for you?
Labor Day was fantastic. I spent Labor Day having a team building party for some employees of mine who work at a nightclub that I own. And so that was a good opportunity to treat them well and give them a chance to enjoy themselves.
Okay, okay, that sounds good. Now, you are in Texas, right?
No, I'm in Chicago.
Okay,
Right now I'm in
okay.
Chicago. I was in Texas the other day, but I'm in Chicago now.
So, is home Texas or is home Chicago?
Home's now Dallas and Chicago. With the opening of Kitchen and Cocktails, it's really important that I'm a part of the city and a part of the community. And so, just now started to put my boots down here and to make friends and to shake hands and kiss babies. And I'm excited to be here in the city.
All right, sounding like a politician. So, for the people who are unfamiliar with you, you made news. What was it, earlier this year or late last year? With some, you know, statements that you made in your restaurant. So, if you would tell us a little bit more about you aside from that.
Yeah, well, I'm Kevin Kelley, and when people ask me who I am and what I do, my answer to them is I'm a servant. I'm somebody who serves with my law firm, the Kelley Law Firm. I serve clients who suffered tremendously bad accidents. I serve with my restaurant, Kitchen and Cocktails in Dallas. I serve with my nightclub, Vivo, in Dallas, and now I'm excited to serve the people in Chicago as the owner of Kitchen and Cocktails by Kevin Kelley. So, as a whole, that's who I am, and I'm looking forward to making a difference here.
Okay, now you're a lawyer, and you also are someone who got into the restaurant industry. Now, those are two completely different things. Now, how did you decide that you wanted to practice law, but also get into the restaurant and nightclub industry?
You know what? Being a lawyer is my day job, but just like anybody else, I like to eat, drink, and have a good time as well. I've got friends and we've sat around a room or a table before, and I think everybody's kind of fantasized about how cool it would be to have your own place. And so the opportunity presented itself several years ago, and I became 50% owner of a restaurant. That was a successful concept, and I said I like it enough to go ahead and go 100% and create my own. And so Kitchen and Cocktails was created in Dallas out of a building that I own that actually had 5,000 square feet available for a restaurant, and it hadn't been used before. So I spent seven figures to develop the space to make sure the vibe was going to be good, the furniture good, the bars marble, to just ensure that it was going to be a good place that our guests would want to be at. And so that worked out well, and that led to Kitchen and Cocktails. We opened in August of last year. Since we've opened, we've been sold out. We've been one of, if not the most successful restaurants in Dallas. And so it just made sense to go somewhere else. And Chicago was the only place for us to go to. I mean, the food's fantastic here. The drinks are great. But most importantly, I love the people of the city. The people in the city of Chicago have been so supportive and so cool that when it came down to the few places we were deciding upon, it was an easy choice. So, that's kind of my story and why I'm in Chicago.
Okay, now out of the 50 states, out of the hundreds of thousands of cities, or even millions of cities across the nation, what led you to Chicago?
Diversity is something that's really, really important to me as well. Beyond the people of Chicago being fantastic. And again, when you're trying to decide where your concept goes next, it's important to travel to places. It's important to eat the food, to drink the drinks, to talk to people, to see the residential aspects of an area, and to say, hey, is this a place where I would be happy at? Those are the things that led me to Chicago. But even from a business perspective, looking at the data, Chicago looks very similar to Dallas. Now, it's twice the populace, but it has about similar percentage of Blacks, Hispanics, and whites as Dallas does. And so it made sense from a business perspective to give the city a shot with the restaurant.
Now, with your Dallas location and with your Chicago location, are there any differences that are, I guess, specific to the area?
Yeah, I hope my Dallas people don't kill me if they see this, but Chicago, we've got to elevate it a bit. It's kind of like you build your first house. It's a beautiful thing, and you'll never forget it. That's what Dallas is for me. That Dallas is my base, but Chicago is a second opportunity, and so I want to do things better in Chicago. Things we didn't do as well in the beginning in Dallas, we're going to do them better in Chicago. We're creating in a way for Chicago in a way that we didn't have to for Dallas. For example, Chicago is a steak city. We're not a steak restaurant. We're a comfort food restaurant. But because we're in Chicago, we do have a tomahawk that's going to be on the menu. And the tomahawk is going to be one that's going to be fantastic. You can get it traditional, or you can get it with our jerk seasoning, or you can get it with our special Asian Hennessy sauce as well. That's one of the ways we're elevating in Chicago. Another thing as well, in Dallas, we don't have mashed potatoes on the menu. But in Chicago, out here, it gets pretty cold, right? So it's important that we have a mashed potato as well. So we don't have a regular mash. We've got a lobster mashed potato. And trust me, this mashed potato is so fantastic. So the hard job I have, one of my hardest jobs, is I have to be the taste tester for the food and drinks. It's not approved by me. It's not going on the menu. So I undertook the burden of trying this lobster mac and cheese or lobster mashed potato. And a lot of times when we make these dishes, I'll send them back 4 times, 5 times, sometimes 10, 12 times with drinks. When I got the lobster mashed potatoes, I ate it 2 bites and I said, it's absolutely perfect. Put it on the menu just like that. And another thing that we have that we're bringing to Chicago that hasn't been in Dallas is a lobster mac and cheese. And so I'm sure if Dallas sees this stuff, we're going to add this stuff to Dallas too, but Chicago has been the motivation for adjusting these menu items.
So, when it comes to the food, like, are you somebody who enjoys food, or did you actually study the food to know, the flavors that pair with this and, what should be in this meal? How does that work for you?
No, I've got a fantastic team of chefs whose job is to make sure they know the culinary aspects of things. I consider myself, though, an expert consumer. And so I've eaten some of the best food in the world. I love to eat in different restaurants when I travel around the country. And so I'm looking at things from the perspective of a customer. And that's been a beautiful thing because the professionals who work for me are first class in what they do. And I respect their job, but it's important to have balance too. And I think I bring that balance of being an everyday person who wants to come in and who wants to eat fried chicken and who wants their chicken crispy, or to be the customer who's going to walk in and, okay, maybe this plate is creative, but maybe this is too much for me. And so that balance, the balance that we have, we work together well, and we've been able to create something good for the public. I mean, when you come in the restaurant, you're going to see artistic plates with a fantastic design, but you're going to see fried chicken on it. You're going to see first-class art that's going to be on the wall in our facilities, but you're going to see mashed potatoes and mac and cheese in the restaurant. And so what we're doing is we're taking comfort food and we're elevating it. As minorities, I can't say we all, but a lot of us like comfort food. We like our shrimp and grits, our chicken and waffles, our catfish, our yams. Those are important foods to us, but we shouldn't have to feel like we have to go to the hood to get it all the time. We should feel like we can go to River North and get that food. We can go to the middle of downtown Dallas and get it. We can go to Beverly Hills and we can get that food if we want to as well. And not a so to say whitewash version of it, but an actual down south version of what we make and how we make it, and serve it to everybody, Black, white, Latino, Asian, to give them all those down south comforts that we've grown up with, or that I've grown up with.
So when it comes to creating an establishment that is, going to be respected by everybody, what are some of the main things that you felt needed to go into the proper planning for opening up an establishment like yours?
Well, one of the most important things for me was to find the right space. And so finding the location that we have on 444 North Wabash, near the Nordstrom and near the Langham Hotel, downtown Chicago, or River North, that was important for me because I want to give my customers a place that they can walk into and feel good about. We're in the middle of employee orientation right now in another room, and we've got 75 fantastic people waiting to learn their positions. But the cool thing about it is these people have stopped me and said, thank you for bringing this restaurant to where you brought it to. And so for me, that's a box checked. Beyond that, we looked at what happened in Dallas and we wanted to make things better. We want to improve things in Dallas and here. But the art that we have on the wall is going to be fantastic. Our bar is a fantastic marble bar. I said, I don't want a wood bar. I want my customers to know that they can eat chicken and waffles, but that bar is going to look fantastic as well. The furniture that we have coming into the restaurant is velvet furniture. We don't just have photographs on the wall. We've got LED screens that are built into the wall that have digital art there. And so, for example, when you want to have a party for the quintessential gentleman, we have the ability to adjust every single LED screen in there and have it be different magazine covers for your concept. And so that's important. I want to elevate the game for comfort food and for our people. But another part of this is the team that we have. That was really, really important. I've got a fantastic chef named Vanessa Brown, who's the executive over Dallas and Chicago. She's making sure things are phenomenal. We brought on a great bar manager named Javi, who's going to take what we've done in Dallas and make it better. We've got another manager named Josh, who is full of energy and who excites me with regards to what he's doing to bring people onto this concept. We've got our system-wide GM, Rico Spears, who's Dallas and Chicago. So he's overseeing 200 plus employees. He's moved to Chicago to make sure this concept is off right. We've got a kitchen manager, Ro, who's fantastic. Cassandra Estes, another manager. So for me, the team is most important because this management team, a lot of people are going to see my face, but these are the people that are going to do everything to make sure Chicago is happy. And even beyond that, these 75 or so employees that we've got, we're going to train them hard. We're going to give them love. We're going to give them support. We're going to build them up. And we hope that the love that we get them or give them is going to be reflected back into what they give to our customers. So I know I gave you a long answer, but you know, I'm a lawyer, man. So they say we talk too much anyway. So you just got to work with me.
Oh, no, I appreciate it. That actually gave me a lot more than what I needed and is definitely well appreciated. Now, when it comes to creating something and getting other people to jump on board and be a part of the vision that you see in your head, how important is it to have a great team of people to execute the vision that you have? And, you know, is it also important that as they come along as team members to, you know, listen to their opinions when it comes to creating the best for not only your vision, but for the customers?
Well, you know, for me, it starts with my vision. I've got to have the vision first. And then when we interview these people, we've got to get them to understand what the vision is and to see if they want to buy into it. Fortunately, we've had people that have bought into it. And so now it's a matter of training them. So now they've not only bought into it, but it's embedded into them. You know, they believe in this concept as much as me. In this room right now, I've got Rico, I've got Josh, and I've got Javi in here with me as well. And I said, you know, I want you to sit in and listen to this interview because you know the concept, you know the food, but hear me communicate about it. Hear my passion for this concept and my passion for the food. So the next time somebody asks you about who we are and what we do, you're going to be that much more well-versed because you've got to hear me be interviewed and speak about how much I love this concept and what it's going to do for our people. You know, when I look at that room out there, the fantastic thing when you talk about creativity is, you know, we have the opportunity to be creative with our customer base, but also with our staff. You've got a room that is 60% Black. You've got a room that is 20% Latino. You've got a room that is 20% white. And so we're creating art too in terms of who we're hiring and who we're staffing with. You know, when you go to the Gibsons, you go to the Maple and Ashes, you go to all these fantastic restaurants that we all love, they don't look like America looks, or they don't look like Chicago looks. We have an opportunity to change the game. And so maybe even when some of these people come and dine in our restaurant, if they do, they can say, wow, they've got a Black manager, they've got a Hispanic bar manager, they've got an Australian manager, they've got a Black system-wide GM. So you know what, the next time we've got a Black candidate, maybe we should look at them a little different and say, hey, this person can work in our restaurant too, because we've seen how they work at Kitchen and Cocktails. Now, I'm definitely not encouraging them to steal my staff, right? But to me, that's a form of business artistry. Now, when you talk about the artistry that comes with the concept, it's hard not to buy into it. I mean, this place is going to be swagged out. I mean, when you talk about the Beyonce picture on the wall on the LED screen, the Obama photograph, or our Asset Lounge private dining room where you've got headshots of Kanye West, of Barack Obama, of Harold Washington, of so many fantastic figures here in Chicago. You know, when you walk into this place and you step up the steps and you see our floral wall that's red roses and green roses. When you look to the left and you see a smiling hostess there looking at you, and behind her you see about 75 Ace of Spades bottles on that wall in a glass wine case that has our logo on there. I mean, this place is going to be a sight to behold. It's going to be one that we think people are going to be happy to go to. You know, it's one thing to serve a good product and to take people's money. It's another one to serve a good product and to make them feel good for being in your space. So we're going to continue to create and work to get better and better in Dallas and in Houston so people feel good about what we're doing.
Okay. Now, you spoke about diversity on multiple occasions. Now, I've had conversations with individuals before who felt that them being a Black man or a Black woman, they didn't want to be the face of their company because they didn't feel like it would attract everybody. It would just attract a certain crowd of individuals. But for you, how important is it to actually be the face or be a part of everyone knowing, you know, about the restaurant and the lounges?
You know, to me, it's not important. Before that whole viral situation, the twerking situation last year, I kind of was behind the scenes a bit, and I liked it that way. But as I'm getting older, I understand that my own personal preference for moving in silence and doing things behind the scenes isn't a benefit to the community. And so it's important for people to see me and know that I own all these businesses, to know that I've got with this restaurant 325 to 350 employees, so they can see someone who has their skin color and say, huh, he looks like me. So you know what, maybe I can do it. I met a young man at the Black Women's Expo about 3 weeks ago, and a really, really nice young man. And he said he wanted to own a restaurant. He was 11 years old. So he came and talked to me, and I showed him our restaurant, and I showed him the food and told him my story. It's important for him to see, because if you meet somebody like me, then hopefully a young kid like that will say, well, he's done it. He looks like me, so I can do it too. But if I'm behind the scenes and they don't see my Black face owning a restaurant or owning these other businesses, then there are people who have ambitions and want to do things, but feel like they can't do it. And I hope that my face, being a face that's similar to many in this community in terms of the melatonin makeup, is one that inspires my people to say, you know what, he's done it, I can do it too. So from that perspective, it's important that I'm out front.
Now, when it comes to resources, opening a business, resources are a major thing, whether it's finding the capital to open this, finding the correct people to, do the build outs and different things like that. Now, how important are resources, and did you discover that you had any adversities when it came to finding those resources from the first restaurant?
Resources are important. Fortunately, I've got a great team of people that work for me at my law firm called the Kelley Law Firm. And these people have been really, really successful in helping families who lost a loved one in an accident recover for those accidents. And so for the past maybe 15 years or so, I've recovered over $500 billion for families. So my law firm has been really, really successful, and they gave me the resources to be able to open my first restaurant. Now, as you scale and open up other restaurants, even though I may have the money to open up this restaurant or another one, that's not the right way to do business. The right way to do business is to go through banks, to have banks finance your restaurants, to have banks finance your plans like many other people do, but it's complicated. And just like other people, I've run into roadblocks with it, and I've been frustrated with it. I don't really fool with the banks that way. Hopefully things will get better, but it shouldn't be this way. A lot of people won't have the resources that I have to finance a restaurant, because it's not an easy thing. You're talking about a 7-figure investment, depending on the location that you have. And so to those who are not there, they can get there. And sometimes partnership is the best way to get to where you want to get to. And, even the SBA is a fantastic resource as well. And I don't have an SBA relationship, but I need to get one, and I will get one. But that's a resource also that can help people get to where they want to get to. And even when you talk about creating a concept, it doesn't have to be as big as you want it to be on the front end. You can start small and work your way up. My first restaurant was 2,800 square feet. My second one, 5,500 square feet. This one's going to be 10,000 square feet. And so you have to at least just start. And in starting, understand that isn't necessarily your end, but that's what can propel you to where you want to be next.
Okay. Now, you sound like a man that has been, around for not a long time, but around to where you can share insight on, on business, on life, on different things like that. So when it comes to opening up a business, what do you find is often the most common mistake that new business owners make?
Probably not understanding the value of talent. That is the most important thing. Attracting the right talent and retaining the right talent. Because if you're the boss and you have the right talent, you don't have to do any work. That's how it's supposed to be. And if your managers are the right talent, then their employees do the work, and they don't have to do much work, or their work can be a different type of work. And being the boss doesn't mean that my work is going to be less, but it means that my work shouldn't be talking to a hostess about what's happening, talking to the back of the house about chicken not being right. My mind needs to be on strategizing for the next location, strategizing for how we're going to get benefits to employees who may not want them, but to get them to understand the value in them. My mind may need to be on strategizing how do we get scholarships for some of these employees who need to go to college instead of thinking that they need to be servers for the next 10, 15 years. Let's get them to understand their future. And so talent is everything, because if I have the right talent, I don't have to do the day-to-day stuff. Now I will, because I won't lose regardless. I'm not going to fail. I won't let myself fail. If I have to bust tables, if I got to get in the back and fry chicken, I'm going to do it before I fail. But the way the business is structured, there has to be other people who perform those roles. And if you look at a business as a triangle and you look at the boss at the top and you've got a row of people under the boss, if those people perform well, then they transition the message to the people underneath them. Then it gets transitioned down. But if you're the boss at the top and you've got management that's not doing things, and there's a disconnect between the message you want to give and the people that are beneath. Or you're communicating with the people that are beneath the management in terms of roles and responsibility, and then there's a disconnect there too. So talent is the most important thing, but even beyond a managerial level, talent is important when you're talking about your, so to say, frontline people, your hostesses. A hostess who smiles and who treats people with respect can be the difference between a customer coming once and coming 10 times. Someone who's a dishwasher in the back. I just spoke with a fantastic dishwasher we have. She came and she brought her daughters to work at the concept too. Somebody like that can be the difference between us having plates that are ready to go on the floor and not having enough plates, things that happen in restaurants. So talent is everything.
Okay, now I feel like the answer is yes, but I'm going to ask you first. Are you already scouting the next location?
No.
Oh.
No, I'm messing with you. Yeah, the answer is yes. You know how I'm moving, man. The answer is definitely yes. We've got the next location narrowed down to about 3 or 4 spots, and I think we'll announce that in the next 90 days or so.
Okay. Now, when it comes to these locations, what's going to be the determining factor of, okay, this is where we're going, this is where we're going to open?
The determining factor is going to be, is our concept something that can make the people happy in that area? And can my team be happy in that area? That's really what it's going to be. I'm not going to work to get up and be miserable. Wherever we're going to be next, I want to be able to walk out of my condo or whatever I get there and smile and be happy. But I also want to walk in that restaurant and see we've got a bunch of people who are smiling because they appreciate and enjoy our concepts.
Okay. Now, if there's any advice that you can give to up and coming business owners, what would that advice be?
Keep on pushing. There's so many losses that happen in business. People see me as the owner of concepts and things, and they see that I'm a successful person. They think that that's all it is. But they don't understand that I fail as a person too. I fail so often. It's ridiculous. I can't even say it's ridiculous. It's just a part of life. Yesterday, I lost 7 figures on a deal. People don't see that, but they see when I win on a deal. They see when I open a restaurant and it's successful. They see that I'm opening Chicago, but they don't see that I went to 5 different places in Dallas that I was overqualified for and didn't get those spaces because the landlords and my idea didn't want a concept that was going to bring Black people, which mine do. So they don't see how many times I get kicked in the teeth and knocked down. But I would tell these owners and people who aspire to do business, don't even worry about it. Take those losses because you can't win without losses. But a lot of people will take losses and they'll be turned away and they'll be deterred. And that's understandable too. But through success, I've understood that losses are a part of the process. So when I lose out on a deal, no big deal. I'm going to win on the next one. Not necessarily because I'm me, but because I've got a fantastic team of people who can't stop and won't stop too.
Okay. Now, when it comes to Kitchen and Cocktails, if you could give an elevator speech to people as to why they should come and support and what type of experience they're going to get, give it to us.
They should come to Kitchen and Cocktails because it's their restaurant. Who doesn't love chicken? Who doesn't love waffles? Who doesn't want to try a fried lobster tail? Who doesn't want to try shrimp and grits with lobster, shrimp? Who doesn't want to be a vegan and try our vegan bowl or our sauteed cauliflower? I mean, we have so many flavors and options for the public that this is the restaurant for people to come to. When you come to this restaurant, the food is stellar, but not only the food, the drinks are fantastic too. We've got cotton candy cocktails that the women love. We've got a True Flame cocktail that's a rum-based drink, and our bartenders make it, and you see a flame getting poured back and forth for a minute in front of the guests. That's an absolute show. We've got a drink called a Black Magic that's got dried ice in it. It's a blackberry cocktail that tastes fantastic too. So who wouldn't want to come here because the drinks are good, the food is good, but beyond that, when you come to this restaurant, you feel comfortable. Everybody who's watching this video has been to a restaurant before. You've sat down and you've heard music, but you don't know what that music is. But when you come to my restaurant, you're going to know the songs. You're going to hear Rihanna. You're going to hear Jay-Z. You're going to hear Kanye. So it's going to be an absolute vibe, but it's going to be the right type of vibe too. We're going to want to make sure things are classy. We want the restaurant to be aspirational. In Dallas, we've served everybody from senators to attorney generals to state reps to lawyers, doctors, teachers, but we've also served people who have come from abused shelters. We've served children who are in homes where they can't be taken care of. We've given back to the public in a number of ways. So this restaurant is for every single person. And so if you support good food, good drinks, or even the causes that we talked about, then this is a restaurant for you. Kitchen and Cocktails by Kelley. And they need to see us online too at Kitchen Kocktails with a K, Chi, C-H-I.
Are there any social media channels that the people need to follow?
Yeah, our Instagram page is Kitchen Kocktails Chi. And they can see us on Facebook as well, Kitchen Kocktails Chicago. So again, Kitchen Kocktails with a K, Chi. And that's about it.
Okay. Well, we definitely need to discuss with the team where we're going to go. I feel like we need to all make a trip to Chicago to support Kitchen and Cocktail Chicago, support you, and actually get the chance to meet you in person and experience what the world is about to experience.